Hey guys, welcome back to JR14. Here I am with another video for you guys today. And like I showed you guys before, I blew the transmission out in Project Mark 7, but I did replace the transmission as well as putting in a BFI Stage 4 clutch. So this video today, I finally have broken in that clutch and I'm here to give you guys a full review, the pros and cons, the good and the bad of the BFI Stage 4 6-plug clutch for the Project Mark 7 or the Mark 7 GTI or the Mark 7.5 GTI. So without further ado, let's get in the car and let's do a full review. Let's go. All right, guys, so let's talk BFI. Let's talk about new clutch. Let's talk about what my impressions. How do I like it? Is it good enough? Is it great? Is it up to my expectations? I put about, now I would say about 1,500 miles on the clutch already, probably anywhere between like 1,500 to 2,000 miles, to be honest with you. And honestly, I could sit here and say that I love it. There are some flaws which we're going to go over today. We're going to go over why I switched from DKM to Black Forest Industries, and why I thought the Black Forest Industries Stage 4 6-plug clutch would be good enough for my car and perfect matchup for the application for the Mark 7 GTI. Let's talk about the break-in process, right? That's the first thing. Break-in process with this specific clutch. This is not going to be for those people who got a Stage 1, Stage 2, or Stage 3. This is for the people who got what I have, a Stage 4 or a Stage 5 4-plug clutch. The Stage 4 is a 6-plug and the Stage 5 is a 4-plug. So how do I like, so let's talk about the break-in process, right? BFI recommends that you break it in for about 500 miles, the 500-mile break-in period. For me, I prefer doing a 750-mile break-in, just because this way I know I broke it in just a little bit more, and this way I know that there's going to be no issues coming forth. So I don't want to, do the 500 and then something goes wrong. Not saying that it would. I'm just precautious like that. I've done that on all my clutches that I've had in this car. I always, whatever they recommend, I always do like about a couple hundred miles more than what they expect. Break-in is extremely rough on this clutch due to the fact that it's a 6-plug. You can't slip this clutch, right? You can't slip it. Like me, even right now, you can't slip this clutch. It was never meant to be slipped, and you just can't ride it. You can't ride the clutch at all. It's just not worth it. Not even for the fact it's worth it. It's just not recommended for this clutch application. If you tend to slip the clutch, then you're gonna end up burning the clutch out. So even me breaking the car in, I had to relearn how to drive a 6-plug clutch, because of the fact of the matter is that it's different. It's not the same. So pretty much before, where I could just go like, you're pretty much just like, like you let off the clutch and you hit the gas at the same time, you kind of do that transition. You can't really do that anymore. Pretty much almost in a sense have to like dump this clutch all the time. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. I thought in my mind, when I actually got used to, like before I even got used to doing that, I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to dump the clutch every single time. But honestly, it's not as bad as you think. With the procedures of breaking in the clutch, you really only have to worry about it like on a hill. That's really where my self-conscience got to me a little bit with driving it, because I stalled it a lot in the beginning process. It's not me. I mean, it is me to an extent, because I've never driven a 6-plug before, but also in the sense that this clutch requires some type of momentum. So for instance, you got to really rev the car out. So it's kind of like vroom, 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 vroom. Like that's my procedure on how to do it. I really don't try to slip it. With that break-in process, I had to relearn that and also break in the clutch at the same time, which was a little bit difficult. But yeah, I mean, for the break-in process, besides those two things, me learning how to drive a 6-plug clutch, and also me learning me breaking the clutch in, it was a little bit of a pain, but got through it much better. So the next thing, let's talk about clutch chatter, right? So clutch chatter for me, it chatters when I have the AC on, but so did my DKM clutch. A lot of people say like, they say that the clutch does not chatter with DKM. That's false. It does chatter. And I feel like it's with the Mark 7s, you really can't get away from that. And that's perfectly fine. And it's, for me, I really don't care if I have to, if I hear chatter. I just know that that is something that BFI was known for, which is clutch chatter. A lot of people said that in the forums, on the Mark 7 Facebook pages and all that stuff. So I get it. I get it. The car makes noises all the way around. The suspension creaks. The engines make a lot, noises. The turbo makes a lot louder noises. If you're gonna complain about the clutch chatter, then don't, because literally, this is not really. It's a racing clutch at the end of the day. Stage 4, stage 5, and everyone like, I know people are gonna ask me, well, why did you go with a 6-puck clutch, Jay? How come you just didn't do like their stage 3 kit? Torque. And that's another major thing with this car. Torque is against me. And the reason why I say that is because of the simple fact that I make a lot of torque. So I need something that can withhold the numbers of the torque levels. Now this is rated for 500 torque, and that's to the crank. And that's kind of where the car makes right now, so I'm okay, I'm safe. Another reason why I decided to go this route, besides other routes, is just because of the simple fact that price point. And that's the next thing I wanted to talk about. So price point with this clutch, I think this clutch retails for like $1,100, $1,099, $1,100. And compared to what you can get comparable from South Bend, this beats it in all aspects. South Bend compared to this is like $1,600 or $1,700 for something that's this comparable, and they use different materials on both sides of the clutch disc. For me, $1,700, and even for you, $1,700 is a lot of money, especially for a wearable component such as a clutch disc. What's the goal of this car? I mean, obviously, as you guys know, later on I'll introduce to my daily driver. I did pick up a daily driver, and once I did that, I realized that I really don't care how aggressive the clutch is, because I'm not dailying the car anymore. Doesn't mean I'm getting rid of it or this, that, and the third. I just want to preserve all the money I've invested into it, and I don't want to beat it to the ground like I already have been. So I want to tangent right back to clutch chatter. Like, it does have a little bit of chatter, and it's not necessarily terrible. It just comes with the, did I go this? Oh, it just comes with the nature of an aftermarket clutch, right? I mean, as long as it works and it works well, that's really what I can do. And that's all. I mean, sorry, that's all I really care about, is if the clutch performs the way it's supposed to. Now, what I noticed, like for instance, if I'm in a high gear, like let's say I'm going in second, like right, hang on. Can you guys hear that little shh sound? I don't know if the camera can pick it up, but that's a good way of that's chatter, not the little clicky noise like when the car is idling. That happens on all single mass flywheel cars. You can't get past it unless you put a dual mass flywheel on the car. Will get up to speed here in a second, and then I can show you what I'm talking about. So, third gear. There's kids in the street. I got to get back to the main road, and this way I can build it back up to speed for you guys. But this doesn't, I mean, I kind of like it, honestly. It's pretty much almost a race car at this point. But let's go into second gear, third gear, fourth gear, fifth gear. Now I'm going to shift back down to third. I don't think you can pick it up, but there's like a slight like shh sound. Okay, matter of fact, second will be much better. There you go. You can hear that. So you hear the little shh sound. You hear that? Good. If you can hear it, great. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up if you guys can hear that. So with that clutch chatter, that's what the chatter everyone's really talking about. I don't really care if the car does the chatter once it's idling. All single, like I said, all single mass flywheels do it. Stop and go. That is, the clutch definitely has felt better every time I've, broken it in more and more and more. The clutch feel has definitely has gotten a lot better. And I don't have any issues with, the chatter or anything like that anymore, or even the feel. and the feel was very aggressive. It was either like kind of like on and off, like a light switch. There was like no gradual significance. There was like no gradual aspect between like rolling off the clutch and then like trying to like engage and go. It just literally was on or off, and it would do this very violent bucking. It was a little annoying, but that has not happened anymore. I mean, sometimes it does, but it's not like all the time like when I was breaking in the clutch in the first place. But let's talk about the stop and go, right? So I'm at a stop right now. I'm talking to you guys. I'm at a red light. This is how it is now to like stop and go. It's gonna sound like I'm slipping the clutch, but I'm not. Even when you're launching the car, I'm not gonna launch it in this video because I'm in a residential neighborhood, but launching the car, you really have to launch it, get your RPM set, and then dump. There's no slipping anymore. You can't do that. You can't do it. You're not supposed to do it. Just don't do it. It's not gonna be a good day. You're gonna go through this clutch like nobody's business. Clutch definitely likes to grab. So for instance, that's pretty much, that's what you have to do at this point. Going through all the gears though, like going normally through all the gears, cake. It's definitely easy. It's nothing difficult about it. There's nothing abnormal about this at all. Nothing abnormal about shifting the car at all, and I feel comfortable. So as you guys heard that back there, that's how I usually have to like vroom, vroom, and then like the second rev, I let the clutch grab, so that this way kind of smooths it out a little bit. I went on some stop and go journeys, you know, and literally that's what you're gonna have to do. Like, you can't get over the fact that you're just gonna have to change your parameters or change your driving style or how you slip the clutch when you're normally coming off like stop and go traffic. It can get a little annoying in stop and go traffic, but again, I don't care because you know, at this point in the game, I really don't care because I'm not dailying the car anymore. Let's talk about easy shifting, right? One thing I do want to talk about is shifting the car. Very easy. On speed, right? So if I want to go through the gears, which I'm on a road, I'm on a highway right now, so I can literally imitate that for you guys. All right, so now I'm going in second. So you hear the chatter again. So here we go, like so. So as you guys can see, shifting the car, it's very easy to do. It feels second nature. There's no issues with it. It doesn't lock you out of any of the gears at all. It's pretty much flawless, right? I really do love the way that this thing shifts now. It's a little bit more direct than before, which is something that I really appreciate due to the fact that I never had it before. You know, I like sometimes I would have problems with my twin disc getting my DKM clutch. Sometimes I would have gear engagement issues, meaning sometimes it happens only in third gear where I reach from second to third and it completely locks me out, and it sucks because I'm either doing circuit racing or I'm just hooning around and just having a good time with the car, and I can't get that positive driving feel anymore with my DKM because of the simple fact that lock engagement, right? If you guys didn't see the video why I left DKM, click in the upper right hand corner of the screen where I actually lost my transmission. Again, I still don't know if it was the DKM's clutch's fault or it was just the fact that the transmission just had enough and second gear went. Now, for me, it doesn't matter anymore. I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus. It's just simply, for me, that's the route I decided to go with. And that's why I switched. But another reason why I switched to BFI out of everybody is reputation and customer service. And the reason why I say that is simply due to the fact that customer service has always been great with BFI. If I have a question or anything else, they always answer my questions. I was curious to see what kind of clutch kits that they offer that can hold my power level. And they were kind of telling me like, what type of driving will you be doing? you know, this, that, and the third, and you know, I'll just explaining to them the process of what I'll be doing, how I'm going to be driving the car, what the car is primarily going to be used for. They said if you're going to use the car somewhat on the street, you can get away with a 6-pug. They don't recommend it, but you can get away with it. I don't recommend you get a 6-pug for a street car. If you're racing the car, if you have a second car and you drive this on the weekends, then that's the only time I recommend this. Here. A lot easier. Rev matching. And that was a cop. That was a cop. And I'm getting pulled over. Oh, no, I'm not. I'm good. Whew. Thank God for EBC brakes. The last thing I want to talk, so like for instance, like that's what I'm saying with customer service with BFI, right? Customer service for me is very important, and I really want to make sure that like the followers that I have, the subscribers that have supported this channel, understand that customer service, you guys buy the products, right? I do the same thing. I bought this product, I stand by it, I like it, I love BFI. They answered all of my questions. They're great individuals themselves. They're very knowledgeable about the Volkswagen platforms, Mark 4, Mark 5, Mark 6, Mark 7. Other platforms as well, and you know, shout out to them, because literally you know, they convinced me to go this route, and I love it. For BFI, they have a lot of stages of clutches you can pick from, anywhere from OEM replacements to stage, like, you know, to like an OEM style replacement, kind of like that's a stage 1. But like if you wanted something a little bit more aggressive, that'll do your stage 2 tune, hold the torque for that, then you have that. But you can't beat it. And for the price point that these things come in at a cheaper price point, you can't really beat it. So let's go over the last thing, right? Pros and cons. What are some pros and what are some cons with going with a stage 4 BFI? Pros, price point. The price point's pretty much one of the lowest I've seen for something that can hold 500 torque, and that's crank torque, not wheel torque. That's about 460, 470 wheel torque, depending on the car you put it in. So that's perfectly fine. I think that's great that this was $1,100. Even if you wanted a stage 3, I think it's $1,000. And they're readily available. So that brings to my second pro, which is customer service and quality and product quality, right? Top notch. BFI, I've owned BFI stuff. I have the BFI engine mount in the car. I also have BFI. I'm looking into getting the RS3 bushing control arms. And I had their shift knob before and I loved it. But I wanted to upgrade to something a little bit more heavier than that. But all their products have been great. And you know, if something is wrong, and I'm sure if something does go wrong, then they'll be willing to support it with no problems at all, and they'll be able to assist you and help you with what you need. Third pro is it does what I needed to do. No slippage, very grabby, very responsive, makes the car fun to drive and engaging, and I appreciate that. So for me, this is where I'm happy to say like, okay, well, this did this, it does what it's supposed to do. I've driven it for 1,500 miles, no issues. All right, so those are my pros. Cons. One of my cons is definitely going to be it's noisy. But again, I don't care about it. It doesn't affect me as much as probably will affect you. It's a noisy clutch. That's just not BFI. Any 6-puck clutch or any aggressive clutch kit in the higher stage range, you're gonna have noise. You're gonna have chatter. 2, I missed the slipping of the clutch engagement. But again, that's not really the fault of the clutch company. That's just I need a 6-puck, and that's just the characteristics of a 6-puck. Drivability. It doesn't make it as drivable as it used to be, but for me, I feel as if this is okay because I'm not daily in the car for anymore. for someone like yourself, if you're thinking about dailying the car, this may not be the correct option for you. I would recommend for like your stage 2 plus, you know, Golf R's, GTIs, stage 3 will be more than enough. Considering the fact that I have a built motor, I do plan to do MPI and E85. I will be adding more power to the car, so it's going to enable me to do a little bit more, just a little bit more. But guys, if you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to JR14. You guys always remember, where we finally put a proper clutch in the car that has the aftermarket support as well as the customer support behind it, you guys always remember that cars are a lifestyle. Take care and have a great day.